boys and girls, it should not come as a shock to any of us out there that the majority of the fans out there, especially when it comes to live action adaptations, feel a little bit beyond once burned, twice shy at this point. I think many of us have been burned way more than once at this point, and we are beyond shy at this point. Pretty much everybody's black pilled the blood a lot of the new live actions that's coming out. And one of those that's coming out here on Amazon very shortly is none other than the Fallout series, the live action adaptation of one of the most beloved video game franchises out there. An open world RPG that a lot of people absolutely loved, and it was exploring in a post-apocalyptic atomic wasteland that had a lot of incredible characters, a lot of different factions, and goes all the way harkening back to some of the very oldest days of gaming. And it's one of them situations where it's a beloved franchise by a lot of people. And we saw the live action trailers come out there, and of course they looked beautiful. They looked stunning. Right? It looked accurate. The things looked good. The Men of Iron looked great. A lot of the stuff with the vaults looked good. The suits and stuff are accurate. The costumes are accurate. Even a lot of the different types of ghouls and all that kind of stuff are accurate. But the problem is we've seen this time and time before, right? We saw the first Halo trailer out there, and a lot of people were very excited about, wow, this looks pretty good. What's up with this random truck in here? But other than that, it looks pretty good. And then, of course, we saw what ended up turning out with that, and it looks like a lot of our fears about that exact same thing happening with Fallout, it looks like it very much might be legitimate, because as you can see here, we've got this lovely article from Bounding into Comics over here on Twitter. Amazon's Fallout director says it would have been a fool's errand for series to try and appeal to fans. I don't think you can really set out to please the fans of anything. Now, boys and girls, let's harken back to, not even 6 months ago, where a live action adaptation did decide to stick to their lore, to stick to their source material, respect their fans, and respect their creator, and that would be the One Piece live action, which was absolutely loved by fans all over the world. It's one of the highest rated shows that Netflix has ever had, and is by far the highest rated live action adaptation of, I would say, probably anything on television that we have ever seen. And it was one of those things that was true, and Netflix garnered a lot of success, a lot of success from that as well. But it looks like, once again, Amazon is going down the path of Rings of Power, and though trying to make it look pretty, although I admit from the very first trailer of Rings of Power, we knew exactly what that was going to be. At least Fallout was trying to hide it a little bit harder. But now, of course, it doesn't take very long before these people speak out. Their mouths open up, and they cannot resist telling you exactly what a disastrous dumpster fire their complete and total destruction of your beloved franchise is going to be. And that's exactly what we're going to check out already. And if you haven't already, make sure you come join us on Rumble live Monday through Friday, every single day at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for these wonderful morning shows that we do when we go over all of this kind of news stuff in depth, and we give you a good little chance to have a conversation about it as well. So make sure you come check us out. So from Bounding into Comics, well, sticking a radiated fork in Amazon's Fallout series, it's done. Absolutely. As if the revelation of a multi-opening Iron Man-esque helmet for the supposedly radiation-proof power armor was not enough of a red flag for Amazon's upcoming live-action TV adaptation of the popular RPG franchise, director Jonathan Nolan has admitted that the series was not made with the fans in mind. Oh, joy. The reason why you adapt an IP is because you have a built-in fan base that you assume as long as you do, well, it used to be, the assumption was as long as you do a good and faithful adaptation, that fan base will automatically come in, or at least they'll come in and check out what you're doing because they love the IP and they would love to see it in live action. But it looks like, obviously, as we've seen over the last few years with Hollywood, they don't care about the fans anymore. They don't care about you. They don't care about the audience. They think they are above you, and they're just going to complete because they're such an artist. They're such an artist. They've got this dream out there that they have to fulfill. They have to make it look beautiful and wonderful, and they have to do it in their own vision. And those little people, well, they don't really matter. They're just the ones that pay our checks and come to see our movies and watch our TV shows. They don't matter. They're just stupid little swine. They're swine. They're the serfs, the peasants. They'll come and take whatever kind of entertainment, whatever kind of dancing clowns we put in front of their face. Except Hollywood's found out over the last few years that doesn't work anymore. How's that box office working out for you, Disney? Nolan, whose viewers may recognize as the creator of CBS's Person of Interest and HBO's Westworld, as well as the brother of Christian Bale-led Batman trilogy Christopher Nolan, offered this insight into Fallout's direction during a recent press event held for the series. And we heard so many good things about the first series of Westworld. I didn't get into it because I heard after the second season it completely and totally fell off. And guess what? I'm glad I didn't, because it was really bad. And this guy, Nolan, decided to pass it off to his wife, which turned Westworld into a disastrous dumpster fire. I wonder if that's going to happen with Fallout. What do you want to bet? We might get a halfway decent, good first season that everybody really likes, and then, of course, it's going to fall off just like Westworld in the second and third season. So why even bother with the first one at this point? And like I said, this sucks because the aesthetic looks so good. I love these trailers. It makes me excited about the show if it wasn't for what we already knew, and now he's just answering it. He's just telling us the truth. As reported by a UK-based consumer technology news on the outlet T3, Nolan's appearance at the event saw him share his belief that trying to make a series in a way that would please longtime franchise fans ultimately a futile effort. I don't think you can really set out to please the fans of anything, or please anyone other than yourself. Oh, there's the narcissism. You remember when people created things for fans? You remember when people created things with an audience in mind that they hoped to please and make happy so they could make money and get good reviews? Yeah, I think narcissism is king in Hollywood at this point. I think you have to come into this trying to make the show but what you want to make, and trusting that, with us being fans of the game, oh, are you? We would find the pieces that were essential to us and try to do the best version. Okay, so let's take him at his word here, right? Let's say he actually is a fan of the games. Let's say him and the creative team behind it are fans of the games. Why you as a fan would you not want to consider other fans, right? Now, if you're saying this in a way that you're talking about just sticking to strict adherence to the lore, or stick adherence to a specific game, I can understand that. The creator of the Fallout series said the only reason he signed off on this is because you weren't going to try to recreate one of the games. You were going to tell a new story, right? So we take that as face value, right? But just the fact that in an era now, and in the era that we currently live in, with so much fan bashing and so much fan talking down to, saying that you're not trying to please the fans and saying that you're not trying to make something for the fans, that's really going to burn a lot of people right from the very beginning. And you know what? Maybe all of our objections, maybe all of our fears are going to be wrong. Who knows? We won't know until the series comes out. But the fact that they're dropping it all at once versus Amazon does so many other things week to week, like including Rings of Power for the abysmal failure that was. How much faith does Amazon really have in the show if they're dumping it all at once, just like Disney Plus dumped Echo? That doesn't feel like a very good sign to me in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. It seems weird. To this end, Nolan then attempted to assuage fans' fears regarding the series' respect for its source material by pulling his aforementioned fan credentials, asserting, "It started for me with Fallout 3, which devoured about a year of my life." Unfortunately for Nolan, it should be noted that given Fallout 3 was the first game made by Bethesda rather than the original developers Black Isle Studios, and the massive amount of division amongst fans regarding which of the two companies handled the property better, his attempt to establish his series' fan cred likely had the opposite effect. Yeah, like you said, if you come at it during Fallout 2 or Fallout 1 and you still ended up enjoying the direction that Fallout 3 went in, that's understandable because it was definitely a very much change in strategy. Says, "I was an inspiring young writer at that point, and it almost derailed my entire career. It's so ludicrously playable and fun. Seriously, the games were just incredible. It's such a rare and unbelievable thing that I've gotten to do twice in my career, to take something that you love and get a chance to play it in the universe, to create your own universe. The first go around for me was Batman. Nolan helped pen all 3 entries for his brother's cinematic Cape Crusader trilogy, though he was sadly left uncredited for Batman Begins." Once again, that's good credentials. That's good street cred. But it's the comment of itself in this current era that I think is a problem. At this time, with Fallout, a series of games that I absolutely loved. Ultimately pressed by the crowd as to whether or not for all his versions to pleasing fans, he had at least produced a Fallout series that was satisfied with, Nolan opted, "It's kind of a fool's errand to try to figure out how to make other people happy. You've got to make yourself happy, and I've made myself very happy with the show." Well, I think with everything else he's saying, and you take it all in context, it's not as bad as what you think the headline might make it seem like. But it's one of those, especially in Hollywood right now. If you are wanting to keep your audience around, and if you are not wanting to ostracize your audience, you have to be very selective with what you say. Take for a prime example, Sydney Sweeney, as of late. She's just probably the most recent example. The chick that played Miss Marvel, I can't remember her name right now, but she's a great one. That she's always been very kind to the fans. She never tried to talk down to them or anything like that, unlike a lot of these other directors and actors and actresses that we've seen over the past few years. But Sydney Sweeney is a prime example of that. She knew the Madam Web movie sucked. You know what I mean? And she's okay with saying that it sucks. She has no problem with it. She said there was a recent report where she just says, like, I'm an actress that was hired to do a job, and I'm sorry that it's like just that's just what I did. Not versus going out there and calling your fans sexist or whatever for not showing up to it. It's all the men's fault that they didn't show up to the movie and yada yada yada. And so it's one of those things. It's like the Fallout director, what he's saying in face value when you take it in complete in context, is not the worst thing out there in the world. Now, is it possible that one line could completely and totally describe the entire show? Yes. Do we believe that he's actually a Fallout fan? I don't know. It sounds like it. I haven't watched him play the game, but it sounds like it. Does this make me more worried about the show? Absolutely. I was cautious about this show because of what we've seen Amazon do to things before. cautiously optimistic, maybe around the second trailer. But this statement right here, just that one line, is definitely putting me back in the cautious band, or definitely back in the cautious camp. But I'll give it its fair shot. We'll watch a couple episodes. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll even do a review. That's one of the other things I hate about these shows is when they dump them all at once. It's almost impossible to review them and be in any kind of interest to you guys. But we'll check it out. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Just as of right now, man, just watch what you say, dude. Hollywood, watch what you say, because you are living in a very sensitive time because of what you have done. We are like the abused children that you have yelled at and smacked around one too many times, or that dog that you've beat one too many times. You say dumb stuff, and we're automatically going to backlash at you. So watch your words, and you know what? I hope your Fallout series does turn out good. I hope you guys have learned your lesson, and you are faithful to the source material, and you do end up making the fans happy with the series. But at this point, you got to earn our trust back. You don't deserve the benefit of the doubt on anything, and saying stuff like this ain't going to help you at all, Bubba. So we'll see what happens with Fallout.